All right, everyone. Paul Xavier here from Next Level Creators. And today I have our client, Bryant Walker, on with us. He is a creative that wanted to take control of his business as a creative, to be able to take control of his income, have a consistent income, and provide more value to his clients. And of course, you've been working with us for maybe just a couple months now, Bryant, and you've already brought on, just talking before this interview, 9,000 in production for sales for shooting videos and setting up commercial campaigns, and then a $2,000 a month retainer for 3 months. And of course, the value that you're going to be bringing to these clients is going to be astronomical compared to that, which is really the fun thing we get to talk about after this interview. But I'm really curious. I love starting interviews this way. Why did you decide to become, what drew you to this creative field in the first place?
So when I was a kid, I'll keep it really short because I did art when I was in first grade, and I actually got one of my pictures that I drew in the city library. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, I won this competition, and I'm like, "Oh, your art's in the library." And my mom was like, "You're so creative." And I was like, "I am," right? And I just on that identity. And funny story is when I was 10, I got a scooter, a Razor scooter for Christmas. And I was really into Tony Hawk and Dave Mirra and extreme sports at the time. And I started learning how to do tricks on scooters. Cause I was like, oh, I've never seen anybody do tricks. I saw it in a commercial. So I saw this video about somebody doing scooter tricks. And I was like, oh, I want to do tricks. So I started scootering. And long story short, I became a pro scooterist. So I actually could do handrails and all that type of stuff on a Razor scooter. And I became online. And that's kind of how I got into the internet. Okay. So,
Brian, one second.
Long story short,
I lost your video there for a second. Lost your video. Okay, now you're back.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
We're good. Okay. So basically, long story short, I started scootering, and nobody thought it was cool locally because it was gangster rap era. You had a black guy riding a scooter. But on the internet, I found forums and communities and stuff. And I found this scooter forum, and nobody believed the tricks I did. So how I got in a video is my dad had this camcorder with a FireWire port on it that could connect to the computer. This is 2002 or something. And there's this trick where I took the scooter and flipped it over my head in a front flip and landed on it without a ramp. And how I realized the power of the internet with creativity was I uploaded that video to YouTube in 2005 or 2006 when it just came out, and it went viral. And it got 100,000 views on it. So if you type in Bryant Walker scooter flip, you'll see that trick from when I was 14. And ever since then, I was like, wow, video is amazing. All these people from all over the world and stuff were able to watch my video. And I'm in this little suburb in this small little southern town. And there's people in France who know me. And long story short, I ended up getting in a magazine in France when I was 19 for scootering, because they're like, yo, you've impacted the sport so much. You're one of the legends. And I was just this all came from me shooting some videos when I was a kid, recording what I do and putting it on the internet. So I knew there was power there between and you couldn't just create a video. You had to make it a video, a skateboarding video. Yeah. You had to make sure the video flowed and all that. So I started learning those storytelling elements. And ever since any job I've ever had, it's it's got to be something about sharing a story and creating, really showing people a different perspective.
Yeah. Wow. And so that's an amazing story. I wish I was seen by 100,000 people for doing a scooter. I don't have the skill, unfortunately. Didn't put in the time like you did, of course. Yeah. And so, of course, that's what initially sparked the creative drive for you. And I know we talked just briefly before the interview. You've had a lot of creative skills that you've developed over the years. I mean, video here, learning storytelling for being a pro scooter. I had no idea of that. Then you also learned how to leverage some ads for your music channel, and you were actually big into music as well. So
Yeah.
tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about that, because I would love to hear about that story.
Yeah. So like in my family, like my mom was the super creative person. Like she'd like, look what I did with wallpaper. And it's like something amazing on the wall. And then my dad was like, he was super, like he got a master's degree in math and he's a very analytical computer science guy. Like he was always about business. So that's where this like merge came together in me. It was like, my dad would think like, hey, that's cool, this creative stuff you're learning, but make some money with it. So I
Yeah.
started making beats when I was like 17. And I was like, this is cool. And my dad had bought me some gear and whatnot. And, I would just like make his workout music. And he just liked it, right? But I was like, I want to be like the best producer. Like, I want to get signed and all that. And again, it led me to the internet. And I found this forum with all these other music producers. And we used to do like beat battles and stuff. And this one guy was selling his beats and making like 50K a year selling beats. I was like, dude, like, what? Like 50K? Like, I'm in college right now. Like, like, I would love, like, because it was like 18 at the time. But I was like, I'd love to learn how to like make money from what I'm doing for fun. And on the website, there was like a ranking system. So kind of think of it like Billboard, but it's how we ranked music producers. And similar to Facebook or Google now, you have algorithms. So it's like if you pay ads, it helps boost up your ranking on that website. And so we'd spend like $40 on an ad, it boosts us up to the first page. And then, we had a PayPal checkout card. It was so primitive. I was doing like ugly HTML, but it was like, Lisa beat. So I had a little music playlist. You could hear all my beats. You type in the name of the beat you want, and then it's like lease it for $25. And I could lease like multiple beats in a day. And then I'd get like a phone notification while I was in class, like, yo, I just made $50. And people are like, what are you doing? Like, how are you making money? Like, I'm working over here at the grocery store or whatnot, and you just made $50. Like where you're not working. It's like, no, I am. Like, I'm making beats and then I'm putting them out to where my audience was. And long story short, I ended up getting like 10 million song plays and 1 million page views. And uh, they were actually like, I had this tag. My music producer name was Concept Beats with a K, and my tag was "What is music without a concept?" So the business model was, I'm going to give away beats for free, but I'm going to tag it every 10 seconds. So you're going to hear "What is music without a concept?" and you had to pay me to take that tag off.
Nice.
Otherwise people know you didn't pay for it, and it sounds cheap as an artist.
Yeah.
So, and then we'd sell exclusive rights, like, hey, I can never sell this beat to anybody else for like $500. And, I would still make money if the song blew up off of like royalties or licensing. And long story short, I had done that and I was like, I can use video again to help make a name for myself. And there's another video on YouTube that got 100,000 views from me making beats. I used like SEO and I used like a Canon T2i. It was the camera I just got in like '09. And I wrote like Drake type beat making video. And if you search that, like, it just shows me like making jokes and making the beat in real time. And I noticed when people saw the video, they had this connection. And I sold, like, every time I did a video, I sold the beat the same week. Like, and I was like, wow, like, there's this real connection of like people understanding who you are and like connecting with you in this video. And I made like $1,000 or $2,000 a month just selling beats in college, like, quote unquote passive income.
Yeah.
And, like, that was that piece. But then again, it was like 2012, the economy kind of bottomed out. And it's like, I went corporate, I did like sales and recruiting. And then I worked in like a marketing agency. And then I saw an opportunity again to get back into video because we saw, like, you see all the trends now with video and digital advertising. And every company is seeing the power of video in their marketing, especially when it comes to their online efforts. And I had known, I had started learning some things of my own about like pay-per-click advertising and whatnot. And I was like, I got to make this switch. This is like the next wave, and I want to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And that's kind of, is that when you found Next Level Creators and sort of came across
Yeah,
our message?
yeah. So like last year, I really said, I kind of started this journey of like, I'm going to invest in some trainings to help me because it's like there's some stuff people have already figured out. So, I got some Facebook ad training, some, like video production, business trainings. And then like, but I hadn't found anything that was like this merge of like a full creative business. Like there's stuff I could find that was like how to grow your photography business, you know what I mean? Or how to grow your video production business. but it was like more so like, here's how you need to itemize your productions, so to speak, or here's how you need to, create this. But it wasn't like, I felt like something you had said in one of your videos. It was like, it's kind of giving a middle finger to a client when you don't tell them how to distribute the video. And that was one thing I had started doing. I was like, hey, I had one client I was working with, and I had shot a video for him, and he had this kind of like online scheduler type system. I was like, I think I can run a Facebook ad to that, and it worked. But and I was like, that was before the training. But then I was like, dag, like I need something that can like kind of teach me, like, what if they don't have a scheduler, or what if like one of the biggest things that I even see in the program that helped me a lot is the fact that there's like calculators for everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, it takes out the guesswork of like, hey, to the dollar, like we can predict if this campaign is like worthwhile, or if it's just going to be something that's just like, hey, I want to make another video, let's launch some ads on it. What's the return? I don't know. We've gotten a couple sales, but it's like, it wasn't measurable enough for me. So that was like one of the things that stood out in this.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the things that I'm the same way. When I think about storytelling, creativity, it's like the power is in the story. And of course, when you're working with business owners, the story comes from the product or service.
Yeah.
So you have to work with great companies. If you're working with a bad company, you're telling a bad story.
It's true.
Not going to work. So we have to find great companies, great clients with valuable offers. We take that, and then we can distribute them too, though, with the tools at our hands now at our disposal. And it takes a lot of time. Like there is complexity to how to run distribution effectively. But that was my goal, was to help shortcut that learning curve for people just like you, because you are someone who is 100% dead center, the type of person I want to work with. You're smart, you hustle, you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, you're creative, way more creative than I am. And it's amazing to see that you're already pushing yourself so far by getting these clients. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like, I think the biggest thing for me is like, I had like, me and my wife had our first child. My daughter's like, she's about to be 19 months old. And when you start no, thank you. And the thing is when you start a business and then you have like the pressure of like in video production, it's like feast and famine. You know what I mean? It's like, you get like, it's weird, but it's like you get a $15,000 job or something like that, right? But then it could be like, you spend all that time working on that $15,000 job that there was no sales pipeline. You know what I mean? And then after you finish that job, you're looking at, well, hey guys, how did that do for you? Well, I think it's working. It's like, what? Like,
it's on my website.
Yeah. And then you go to another client and then you're starting from scratch again. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, we need this. And then it's like this build up. And then they're asking like, well, we don't like the lighting on that. Can we like do the lighting again? Or like, and I'm like thinking like that, no one cares about that. Like in the grand scheme of things, like if the message is on par, if you're changing something, like there's all these elements that it's not business owners' faults what they don't know, but they think that just like pure image quality is what sells, And I remember I had this conversation with a company one time and I was just like, how much is a Super Bowl commercial? And they were like, millions of dollars, right? And I was like, how many Super Bowl commercials do you remember? They're like, I don't know, like one or two. I said, how many do you think you see? I don't know, like 20, 30, something like that, right? And I was like, so with that being said, don't all of them have like the most expensive cameras? And they're like, yeah. I was like, so it's not about quality that makes the video work then.
Bravo.
And they were like,
great point.
Yeah. And they were like, so what are those things then? Because you had distribution, you had video quality, but it was like their message was off. Yep. The message didn't connect. And like, even like, diving deep, like I realized for myself, like, hey, I got to learn more about like copywriting and things. And I had started doing that too, because it was like, wow, video is really about the message. But then again, when I got into the course and it was like, there's so many layers that I didn't expect. Like I knew, like I guess here's the feeling. Like I had seen your ads and whatnot. I know that's similar to people's other stories. Like I'd seen your ads and all that, but you were giving out a lot of good value in your trainings, for free. So I was like, this guy's practicing what he preaches. He's not saying like you should market this way, and I see no evidence of the way you market. It was like he's providing these trainings, and then he's following follow-up trainings, and I'm learning and everything. Like he's on the same path I am with the type of content, because like there's a lot of programs out here where it's kind of like a cash grab in a sense of just like, hey, we're going to teach you Facebook ads. And it's like, well, we can teach it for everything, or we're going to teach you Google ads. And it's like so generic that it's just like, it's a $1,000 course. We're going to do a 4-week thing. And then it's hopefully you figure it out in the Facebook group, versus something that's like specialized to like, it's the same type of people with the same type of goal. And we're using this medium of advertising, or these mediums of advertising, to serve our clients with this specific like medium called video. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this is the way that we're going to leverage this, which is much different, because those other courses are like, yeah, just use a cell phone or use this. But it's like, there's so many other opportunities. Like, yeah, you can use cell phone, but there's even more new creative ways to use like, high level production quality stuff, but distribute it better, online. So it's just like, it's not about just like saying like, hey, let's just shoot it with anything and let's just get it out, because that's what everyone else is doing. It's like, if we take the, like it basically this program was like, I see these people understand, like if you take this seriously and do it more strategically, there's so much value to add to a business, and that's what I wanted to offer to my clients.
Yeah. And that for one, it speaks volumes about who you are as an individual, someone who wants to take on the obligations of your clients, that responsibility of being able to be their advisor. And, no one else heard what we were talking about before this interview, but we were talking about helping a client make a difficult decision, because you know what their reality is going to be if they don't make a change. And my whole philosophy is, and we talked about it, is we want to be able to tell our clients the hard truths, but to actually tell them, because it's what's best for them.
Yeah. And I wanted to be able to do it with confidence, and like specifically like the deal that had come up with, the recent owner, it was like the commercial campaign and the retainer. It was like, I remember I asked you a question, I put it in the group chat or the Facebook group, and it was just like, what angle can I do? And it's like down to the dollar. It's like, if we hit this number, then this is success. And then we know what we need to spend to get to that number. And it was just like, I didn't have that level of clarity before. So that takes out a lot of the anxiety of, like you didn't, like, I remember even on the call before I joined the program, it was just like, hey, this isn't a get rich quick thing. This is, if you are willing to work, I have the thing that you need to do to execute to get the result. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, again, my expectations when I opened it, I'm like looking at like week 1, week 2, like going through, I'm like, wow, like this guy's got resources for like everything he's teaching. And it's like, you don't see it often enough. Like I hate, like with a passion, when I paid for a course and it's just like video for an hour with no segmentation and no context, and then like no like structure put around like, okay, like is there any takeaway documents, or it was like you can go through each phase, and then it's also nice to say, okay, I finished this, let me go back and revisit this. Okay, cool. And it's organized where I could do that versus like, hey, here's 4 weeks. Each week is an hour long. No type of context of, well, what was that part that was valuable to me again? I don't know, because they didn't structure it that way. So I'm kind of just left to do more extra thinking while running a business. Like I'm running a business, like I need to be able to learn and adapt and use this stuff and implement this stuff easily.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, again, it's eating your complexity. My job is to make things simpler, make you faster, make you perform at a higher level so you can do that for your clients. And that's what I want you to do for your clients, is to fill their businesses up with more clients and then make them start freaking out saying, I need to hire more people.
That's like my dream conversation, to go to a client and be like, Like, I have one client right now, and he's like, I want to hire another person to my team, so I can open up another office, and it's just like it's like even beyond money at that point to be like, yo, like there's so many marketing companies. Like I have a personal value. So many marketing companies that exploit people because they don't know what makes marketing work. They just hear like, oh, I heard I needed a video. And then somebody just charges them for a video, but it's like they didn't even diagnose the problems or anything, or on the flip side, it's like, oh, I thought I needed ads. And it's like I get satisfaction out of telling somebody, like, to be honest, I don't think you need to market what you have. I think you need to kind of like improve what you have before you do put it out, and it's like to tell somebody no like that and be like, I could have taken your money, but you would have been pissed off because I already know, like,
Yeah.
like there's no proof of this working. You don't have any good testimonials already. It's like, if we put a video and ads on this is going to magnify a bad thing that's going on. So it's like, versus like, oh, I have a great product and a great service and we got great reviews. Let's magnify that. That's great. So it's like, having this type of like system in place to even go and be like, whoa, I like ran the numbers and I don't think this really makes sense. Maybe here's an alternative, or hey, here's another person I know, maybe, who you'd probably just wanted a social media recap at this phase, while you iron out this other stuff, when you want to come back for a full-fledged like commercial campaign, when you've got your one offer that's crushing it, or it's, building traction, whatever, like come back to me. And like people aren't used to that. They usually hit me. It's like, what's your price? And they feel like they just have the leverage. But then when you come back and it's like, well, let's talk for a second. You're doing a discovery call for 15 minutes and it's like, oh, well, thanks for those suggestions. Yeah. And thanks for not just taking my money.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time because a lot of people, they come into business and they have this misconception that sales is about convincing people. And that could not be further from the truth, right? Sales is all about adding value and meeting people heart to heart. I tell them that all the time. If I can't help you actually achieve what you want in your life, there is no way I am or anyone on my team would ever make you an offer. But what we would do is try to help you figure out how to get what you want, because that's what sales is about. Again, meeting people heart to heart and helping them solve their real problems in life and saying, I'm not the best fit for you right now, but if you want this in the future and you're at this point in your life, that's when I can help you. And here are the things I think you have to do to get to that level, right? And that's it's a respectful thing to do as well. So, Brian, I mean, amazing mindset shift that you've been through. I mean, it just, hearing you talk is incredible. And I think a lot of people are learning just from hearing you talk in this state of empowerment, right? Because of your newfound knowledge and confidence and ability to create value for others. Where do you see yourself in the next year? Where are you taking this business now?
I see myself working with people who have already figured out something, but they're the best kept secrets and they don't want to be that best kept secret anymore, so to speak. So like, I wanted to build out, like at first I was like, I want to build an agency and I want to do that. But then it's like, that sounds stressful, like having a bunch of, but it's like with the commercial campaign style system, like for me as a business owner, like I had a video product I created for like events and stuff. But I was like, I need another service to offer my clients that is, they have these advertising budgets that they want to spend bigger dollars on, but I want to position myself to be ready for that. And that's why I invested in, the Next Level Creator, because it's like, pretty sure, as a business, it's like you have multiple revenue streams, you know what I mean? And I want to be able to say like, hey, I've got, 5 commercial campaign clients, like some clients I still have are like, if I would like to take them, are these bigger, like, I just need this one-off thing. It's a conference or something like that type of situation. But even sell that to them and be like, hey, we could still run a campaign. You know what I mean? Like instead of just, doing feast and famine marketing, we could, nurture these people throughout the year about all the great things. So when it is time to, release your big business conference, you've already got all these people just working for you, you know what I mean, in a systematic way. And it's so having more commercial campaigns sold. So basically all the work I'm doing in the production can be leveraged, you know, over and over and over and over and over in value.
I think something you said earlier, and I think you'll like this concept that I have. So I talk with my team about it a lot. Is my goal is not to create passive income. It's not. My goal is to create leveraged income. There's a big difference between those two. Passive is like, well, do you want to have passive relationships? No. You want to have passive love? I don't think so. I don't really want passive money where money's just like funneling into me. And leveraged income is where you're leveraging things. You're gaining freedom in time, and you're using leverage with things like video, which is one of the most leverageable things that we have, because you put it online and that one video can perform for you for years.
Yeah.
But you have to leverage it with the right distribution. You have to leverage it with the right message, the right story, the right content, the right level of quality for that particular audience. All of it matters. But leveraged income is kind of the key. And I think it sounds like that's what you're after as well. So
like basically it's like I remember I have not launched like my official like business name out to the community and whatnot, right? And I'm about to do it like this week. But the reason why it's halted it was because it's like I wanted to be exactly as sure who I was helping and like what I was offering them. You know what I mean? Like you know, when you first start like in running my business, like I had started full time probably a little over like a year, 3 months ago. You know, it's like, you know, you're fired up, like, yeah, I see this change. We're going to do this. Like, I'm worth more than this and all that. And then you start getting punched back in the face because you realize, like, organization literally means an organization. Like, if you don't, like, something that resonated in this program, it's not just teaching, like, how to use ads or how to leverage, better sales, approaches and whatnot. But it's also, like, how do you set up your business the right way so you can grow, effectively? You know what I mean? Like, how are your finances set up? Like, how's your marketing set up? What's your operations, plan? Like, what's your marketing? You know what I mean? And it's like, with all those buckets, it's like, oh wow, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now I can like just the pieces also too about mindset shift are like, God, I wish I had that before I even like jumped into this, because it's like, my perspective is like, again, from somebody always going through courses and all going through trainings and all that. And it was like, why would I take a training and then still feel a little empty? You know what I mean? Or feel like something. But then, like, I remember I called somebody after I got this and I told him, I said, this is the last training I'm buying. And I said, because it's like, I felt like I was 80% somewhere, but this, like the 20% was almost like, can you talk about 80-20, right? It was like actually like the 20. Like I knew 80%, like I knew a bunch of stuff, but then I realized I was like, I was actually hurting myself a little bit last year because I was just learning things. Like I got to learn ads, I got to learn YouTube ads, I got to learn, and it was like there was no there's a concept you talk about if you're it's like a business, but it's like the whole proof of concept philosophy is like, why did I never like connect those dots? But it's just like that makes so much more sense. It's like it's so much more focused. It's so much more, okay, we're going to use our intelligence and we're going to use our systems and we're going to use these things to get to this place. Now I'm not feeling on edge, like out of FOMO of like, what do I need to get? Or like in investing in this, it was like, okay, this was the right thing because this is allowing me to go down the path I need to be going. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like this is where I've wanted to go, and this is a clear path. And it's like, the way I felt about because I remember I first saw your ads and I was like, is this just another guy just talking? You know what I mean? Like you kind of go through that filter. It's like, we all know Facebook ads. We all know like good messaging can resonate. But then when I actually sat down and watched your content, I was like, well, like I said, when I actually got into the course, it was just like, I didn't know there's all the layers were covered. It wasn't just like how to do this. It was like also like, how are you as a person? Because you need to be in this type of mental space if you ever want to achieve goals, you know what I mean? Or if you want to get to this level, or it's like, you know, like what's your discipline level? You know what I mean? Or like, how self-aware are you? Like, you don't hear that a lot in like any type of training course, you know? It's like, even in my 4 years of college, it was just like, here, learn how to do this, but nothing of like, where does your mind need to be to do this the right way? And just like that mindset stuff alone, like I remember I was like, dag, like these are things that are disrupting me from moving forward. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I never thought something mental about my mind state needed a shifting as much as it did. Cause like, I think I'm a pretty, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm pretty self-aware. Right. But then I'm like, it's so simple, but it's like having somebody be like, you know, this is how the world works. Like, stop fighting against, you're fighting against things that naturally could be easy. It's like, if I had a boat, like in some of the things, it's like if you have a boat, you're trying to go downstream, but you're trying to go upstream. Or it's like you're trying to swim up a waterfall. It's like, why like that? But in our culture, you know, I'm not knocking Gary Vee or any people like that, but it's just like you hear so much like just hustle, just work harder, just work harder. And if you just keep working harder, if you wake up at 3 a.m. and just work until you like you're bleeding, you know, and it's just like, I'm like, yeah, I'm working hard and I'm working. And it's just like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between being productive and being busy. You can be working hard all day long and make no progress.
Yeah. You know, or it's just like, you know, you could do 20 event videos for $100 every day if you leverage your time. And it's just like, that sounds like a really inefficient way to use my time. And a whole bunch of clients that probably don't respect what I do. Like, you know, I'd rather work with a client who's willing to invest in themselves by investing in me. And I want them to feel like my skill set and my plan is an investment into their future, you know? And I'd rather only work with, you know, a handful of those that are like, yeah, like, I think you said like, yeah, you know, how many people, you know, should you work with when it comes to like, you know, should you work with startups and stuff like that? And again, when you start, on it. Then you quickly learn all businesses are not created equal in the sense of like, it's like, you know, all businesses aren't created.
Yeah, it blocked out on me. So all businesses aren't created equal. Yeah.
Yeah. All businesses aren't created equal. So what I'm saying is like, I'm trying to pitch like, hey, this is a $5,000 project. And it's like, dude, we've only been open for 3 months. And I'm like, well, you have a brick and mortar. Okay. It's like, dude, we're just a bakery. You know, it's like, and then on the flip side, it's like with the commercial campaign type structure, it's like, it gives me the confidence to go to a company that is already winning, already has reviews, or this, you know, it's this law firm, or, you know, like, you know, my niche, because you would talk about like, you know, choose a niche so you can, you know, start becoming more efficient in the work that you do, not just like working hard, but it was like, you know, I wanted to start reaching out to people who are also creatives in the home design space, like interior designers and like home remodels, because it's like people spend a lot of money on those things, you know. And I know like my first deal wasn't in that space, but it was like, yo, I'm gonna execute on this. This is gonna help me flex this commercial campaign muscle. But at the same time, like, who are the other creatives who make good money that it's like, well, like I wrote, like after like watching one of the trainings, I wrote like on my board, like, who is my dream client? Like that ideal like client. And I was like, you know, who are the other creatives who do make money? Like, what if, like, I would love to make like commercial campaigns for like architecture firms and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I actually have something that makes sense mentally, like just dollars and cents, but then also like playing the heartstring, like, you know, look how beautiful your impact is. Or, you know, imagine you don't have to deal with the frustration of people not understanding like what your process is. And imagine not having to deal with client, like there's so many businesses that depend solely on referrals, where like a commercial campaign can really just take that to a whole new level. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, it's giving you a better filter.
And that education level, like you said, like a lot of businesses rely on referrals because their offers are complex and they don't know how to communicate them effectively in a way that is digestible to someone who's not in that market. Income, the creative, income, the storyteller. You have that capability, that skill set is yours, and you can help this person who's really passionate, who loves what they do, who has a transformational offer, but doesn't know how to communicate it. And I'm so excited for you. You've got a great future ahead of you. I appreciate all the, of course, compliments you've made about our community, the program. It's great to hear. And of course, we're updating it as we speak. It's going to be even better here in the next 2 weeks. A whole new rollout of it. So that's so exciting. And of course, we work with our clients for life. So we're going to be working together forever, which is great. You're in our community. We're always doing Q&A calls, and there's really no way.
I forgot to even mention about that. Like just the mindset calls and the like Q&A calls. Like, again, it's like, hey, here's how to figure out this technical thing. Hey, you got told no 5 times this week. Get on a call with us. Like, let's just talk it out. Like, let's make sure your mind's clear. It's like just those small things like that. It's like that attention to detail that's in the program that covers like what a true entrepreneur is going to be going through. You know what I mean? Because it's not just all technical, there is a lot of that mental stuff where it's like, all right, cool. Now I can go and operate the next move with a clear mind. Well, she's my wife, but yeah, I have many mindset sessions with Miranda as well. I need them on occasion. And, so Bryant, my last question for you today is, you've been through Next Level Creators, you've gotten clients. For someone who was in the situation that you were in prior to joining Next Level Creators, who maybe they've been seeing a bunch of other programs out there, they don't know what decision to make. Would you recommend Next Level Creators to them, and why? Yeah, I would definitely recommend it specifically to a certain type of person. And I would say, like, I wouldn't recommend this program for someone who's just looking to just like, hey, I think I should get into video and just, dabble. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody is looking at these programs and it's all these types of things, but they want something that's literally like, here's how you set up your business. You know what I mean? Like, I know like if this person is doing video and is already providing value, but they want to maximize the value, then like this program is really a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Because like when it comes to video, there's so many places to learn how to make videos. You know what I mean? Like on YouTube, there's wedding filmmaking. There's so many places to learn about videos. So there's not a lot of places that have taken the understanding of the value that we provide. So, if you're making videos, you're seeing value, like me, for instance, like I was doing videos, multiple 4-figure type projects and stuff with good sized clients, but it's just like, I was like, I want to invest in something that's really going to move the needle, and streamline what I'm doing as a business. So I can say like, yo, I'm going to be making $10K a month, and I can see that predictably. If you're a creative, especially somebody in the video space who is looking for predictability, like this program does provide that, business model for that predictable income. And that's what I was looking for. I didn't want to have to look at my wife in the eyes and be like, hey, what are you making next month? I don't know.
Yeah.
And we have what we have right now. I'm still bidding, hopefully these bids come through. Hopefully they don't squeeze us. Like, one thing I hate is bidding. I hate bidding when it's like, hey, big project, here, 10 different quotes, put your best quote in. And then, you know what? We're going to squeeze you a little bit because we got 4 other people willing to do it for $2,000 less. Are you going to do it for $2,000 less? And then now it's like, there's no leverage, versus now it's like, hey, I have a lot of great value. You have a lot of great value as a business. Let's partner together. And there's that mutual respect. Like, if you're a creative who's looking for that respect too, to see eye to eye with the business owner and talk the numbers type situation and be like, this dude knows what he's talking about. Like, like he's not like, they'll see like he knows what he's doing. We trust him with this investment because he understands like this is going to take us to the next level, and he knows exactly, or she knows exactly what to do. That this is who this is for. You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of confidence to go to a company that is a national brand and say, or a national franchise and say, hey, these are some things I see with you guys that could really take you guys to the next level. I'd like to implement this system, and we'd like to partner with you and really guide you through this together, and really like take what you're doing that's already great, and then like spread it like a wildfire in a way that's not only effective, but it's measurable. It's like, well, shoot, like that's what I wanted before this program. It's like I have that now. So it's like if you want that, like that's what this is. So yeah, it's like it is an investment, but it's not an investment. I feel like I got burned. You know what I mean? It's like I got in there and I was like, wow, like this is good. Like I know I have to do my part now because the course delivered on its part.
And I am here for you every
Yeah,
single week, and the rest of our team is here for you every week. That's the way we work. Lifetime relationships. I
yeah,
grow as you grow, and that's our goal. So I'm really excited to help you get to the next level. And thank you again so much for sharing your experience so far. And we'll do another one of these interviews in 2 years, and we're moving from 10K a month to that 100K a month, or
yeah.
a lot sooner than that, I hope.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
no, yeah, yeah. This is definitely awesome. So if this is something that you like you said, you've been looking at it. I'd been looking at it for months. I was like, and then I was like, let me schedule a call. But then I was just like, I actually did it, went through it, got it, and I was like, this is legit. Like, I wouldn't put my word on something that I felt like wasn't legit. Like they didn't impact me. Like even when you see like your wife, like why do you start talking like that? Like numbers and Excel spreadsheets and stuff, like or like, yeah, this is how the world works. Like, don't you understand? Like these are like you're doing too much effort in this. Like, why don't like da 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 da? And then she's just like, wow, like not only is it helping my business, but it's transformational into what I'm becoming. It's like it's it's very weird to say, but it's cool. But it's like, like it's helping me be a better person in a sense. You know what I mean? Like maximize who I am. And it's like, I know on the internet watching something like this is like, okay, this is bullcrap, right? But it's like, no, it's like this is literally something that I feel like it came like, you know what I mean, for me, and it really helped me push through and get to my next level of confidence.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I have goosebumps. I can't show you because they're either here, but I do. And it's amazing for me to hear that. And there's a lot of things you've learned. There's a
Hmm.
lot you have yet to learn. And that's
Yeah.
one of the beautiful things as well. Our program is not about studying our concepts. Our program is about living them. And you are in that journey right now, and it
Yeah.
only is going to get harder and better at the same
Yeah.
time. So thank you so much for
Yeah, man.
your experience, Bryant.